Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Karine Franke and today I wanted to talk to you about the 7 signs of a spiritual awakening. And no, you're not feeling bad, there's nothing wrong with you, you are just waking up. And going through a spiritual awakening can be quite of a pain. At least that's what I always experienced. And getting to know these kind of stuff can be quite difficult, and especially if you feel like you're kind of the only person around you that is just going through something and nobody else around you seems to understand you. And maybe you have such severe pains and medical conditions that you go to a doctor and they just say you're crazy and they're stuffing you full of pills, and it makes it even worse and worse. Because you're awakening, you are waking up to this reality. Being awakening means that you are going to see the world for what it is. It is not being stuck in this 3D reality. It is the transformation into a 5D shift. And in waking up to this reality can be exhausting, really. It can be quite hard if you feel like that. But know that you're not alone, and a lot more people are going through this process, even though you seem to be the only person that is going through this. But this is actually not true. There are so many more people waking up right now. But the reason that you are feeling alone is because these are one of the signs of spiritual awakening. And in this video, I want to tell you more about the 7 signs that I have experienced during my spiritual awakening process. And I'd like to share them with you, so I hope you can feel a little bit less alone than you already feel right now. The first sign I wrote down was actually headaches. Experiencing headaches in like this area. It's this area of your third eye in the front of your head, and maybe even your eyesight might be cloudy or fuzzy, and all around to your ears on this side. Migraines are also a very big sign that you are waking up in this universe and there's nothing actually going on with you. You are just shifting from realities and you're seeing things differently. You're starting to see and waking up to the world that isn't the world that we live in right now, because we know differently. We know that things can be better, things can be different. And in my experience, I've experienced a lot of headaches that have to do with the opening of my sixth sense, because that's what's happening when you're awakened. When you're going through the signs of your awakening process, you are waking up and your sixth sense is coming into a much clearer vision than it has ever been. So this opening portal it may even hurt a little bit sometimes, but just you can see this like growing pains. And you might experience them as really heavy, because we as a human being, we tend to be willing to walk away from the pain and we're shutting it out. And by shutting it out, we're not embracing it. We're not embracing the feeling that is going on right now and not letting the pain tell us what is actually going on or what is actually wrong with you. But it's just one of the signs that you are going through this spiritual awakening process. You're not feeling sick. You're not feeling tired. You are just in your awakening shift. And that is so important for you to understand that you're not crazy. You are, and these headaches, they are not here for a reason. They're not here to torment you. They're just here to help you waken up and see the world for what it really is. You'll start to see that the world we live in is all actually a big joke. it's not real, the reality we lived in. We are being pushed in such a reality of 9 to 5 jobs, having to make all of this money for ourselves, and so many that we don't have anything time to do more and more. It's just about, it has just become all this pressured, and we are being forced into this life. And that's why so many young people nowadays experiencing all these physical body pains, and know that I was one of them. I've been that person for about 12 years. But now I know I was just waking up. It was my spiritual awakening. And I needed this I needed these 12 years to get to the point where I am right now. Because I needed to figure it out, all of it. I needed to figure it out all on my own. And it takes a long time. And just that was my path. And I'm so thankful for it, for me to experience that. And one of the headaches, I never had real migraines, but the headaches, they were always present. And the more I became awake, the more aware I was of them, and the more frequently they came, because I was just shoving it out. I didn't want to feel any of the pain. And that's what, if you're not embracing it, then you can feel the pain. So the best thing you can do if you're experiencing these headaches is just to simply embrace it. And I know it hurts, but maybe you can just let the pain tell you what it really is and why it's here for you. It's not for you to torment, it is just your sign of a spiritual awakening. And the second thing I wrote down was depression and anxiety. Well, we already talked about headaches, that a lot of people are experiencing them. Well, we hear so much about young people having depression and anxiety, so much more nowadays, and even older people. And that's what we do. We are being shoved in this reality with going to school, with going to university, and being shoved in a job that we don't actually like to do. At the moment we are born, our lives are being laid out, and then finally, when we have gone to school for a dozen of years, and then we go to university, and then we go into this job, and then we come into what we call the real world, and then we collapse because we see the world for what it is. And we're thinking this 9-to-5 job where I have to work 40 hours a week all the time, and I'm not actually enjoying this. Is this what I'm alive for? This can't be the truth. This cannot be the meaning why I am alive. There should be so much more to this than just working this 9-to-5 job and being a slave to my own paycheck every day, and to buy for this big house and to buy for this big car. And that's why so many people are experiencing a depression and anxiety. And sometimes you don't even realize why these feelings are there, but you just experience them. And that is a major sign of going through a spiritual awakening process. And again, you're not sick, you're not ill, you're just waking up. It's okay for you to do. And this depression is here to make you a stronger person. And it's here to show you that this reality you live in right now is not even real. It is such a big sign. It is such a big sign for you to wake up. And it's only going to get better after that. But you have to decide at some point to end it. This depression is just here to teach you something. And the more you are willing to look at yourself and what's going on deep inside of you and really connect with those pains and fears, the sooner you're going to get through this process. In your spiritual awakening process, you might feel really alone. Like everyone else around you might seem like they're doing something differently, and they're just feeling happy in their work. And why isn't that the case for you? I mean, you doing the same thing, but it doesn't work out for you. I mean, why is that? They seem to be happy, but you are not. And it's so important for you to realize that you're not alone. You're not the only one going through this. The other people you see around them, they are there for you because that is your life task. If you're waking up right now, know that it is important for you to be surrounded by people who have no idea what you're going through. It is your point to show your own light and influence the people around you. Because not all of them are waking up right now, but you are, and you're going through this process. And you shouldn't be afraid of what you're feeling, and know that there are other people and you can easily connect with them over the internet. There are so many options nowadays, and just look for some people that feel what you feel and you can relate to, because it's really so helpful going through this process. But also dealing with these people, and it's the same for me. I mean, I am born into a family who doesn't get what I'm going through, and if I would talk about what I'm going through, they'll just look at me and, is she crazy or something? What's going on with her? I mean, maybe shove some pills in it. Well, never do that. But it is just, you're not alone. And the people around you, maybe someday they will get you, and someday they won't. But it is okay for that, because this awakening process is about you and not about all the other persons. It is important for you to wake up so that you can shine your light and influence others. Know that by going through your own spiritual awakening process, you influence others to wake up as well. It's like this circle, and you are being the middle point of this, and you send out these higher vibrations, and a lot of more people are receiving and getting them. And just by sending them this bit of light that you have, their awakening process comes a bit closer and closer. So you're actually already being magic just by existing. Know that you're already being magic, no matter it is what you're doing, but just by shining your light out to other people in the world, you are magic. The fourth sign of waking up to your spiritual awakening process. And now again, you're not feeling ill, you're just waking up and going through this process. It is that you're not feeling so much pleasure in the things that you used to love. The things that you used to love to do simply don't resonate with you anymore. Something has changed or shifted inside of you, and you just don't feel that anymore, because you start to look at it from such a different perspective. Like, for example, if you have always been a pro athlete and doing lots of like running matches or something, I don't know what you call it in English, but did a lot of running and competitions. You did a lot of competitions, and simply someday you wake up and it doesn't resonate with you anymore. That is such an important vibe of going through your spiritual awakening process, because you have grown beyond this and you see that this world full of competition is simply not resonating with you anymore. It's no longer who you are. They are just competing against each other, and for what? For honor and glory, but does it really improve like the world? As you are waking up now, you're probably a light worker or a starseed, and you are waking up because you have a goal and mission in this life. And if your mission in life is to run really fast, I say, please go for it. But most of us, we have a job to do that will influence other people. And I'm not saying that athletes don't influence other people, because they definitely can if they use the talents right. But if you always did that, you may one day wake up and just feel like it doesn't resonate with you anymore. And you will have to find a new path in what you like to do and just experience a lot of things. What I did was going through this whole lot of creativity things. I like to be creative. So I did like drawing, photography, and writing. And so I came to each and every time, and now I stick to YouTube, making YouTube movies. So I did so many things, but it was necessary for me to get to know me again. Chances are you might feel really, really tired at all sometimes. Even you feel like overwhelmed with tiredness, and you have no reason why. It is just because this world has such an impact on you, and you are not willing to embrace who you really are, or maybe you're not ready to embrace who you really are. You get so tired of living this other life, of living this other reality, that you just simply have a hard time to stay awake. If you always have to do the things that you don't like to do, like working in this office from 9 to 5, it simply means that you're not ill, you're not feeling sick, you're just waking up. This spiritual awakening is so much more, it has so much more impact in whatever way that you can think of right now and relate to. But know that this tiredness, it doesn't always need to mean that you're really ill or something. It's just an awakening process. And believe it, for someone who has been chronically tired. I had chronic fatigue syndrome for like over a decade. And now I finally know, ever since I've began to be more aware of my awakening process and got more information about what I was going through, it all started to resonate with me, and it all started to fall into place, and see that this is what's going on with me. It's not that hard. I mean, and now I feel so much more energetic and more alive. I mean, so many people who go through this, like what I had, like they get the stamp of the chronic fatigue syndrome and they end up lying on the couch because they feel ill. And I never wanted to be that person. I wanted to live. I wanted to go, and I really knew that there was something else for me out there. So I never ever stopped searching, and that's what I recommend that you shouldn't do. You should stop searching for something that works for you. It can be all kinds of therapies. It can be people like me who influence you on YouTube, and all these kind of spiritual leaders for you to help you in this awakening process and help you get your body going again. And when you're going through this spiritual awakening process, you also know that you are meant for something else. You're not meant to sit behind this desk and just sit there all day and just wait and wait until the clock strikes 5 and you can go home and watch more television. That's not a plan. I mean, what else would we be alive for? We are here to have a goal, to be able to experience things, to influence people. There's so much more out there than we have been put in through. But this world has made us believe that that's all we're good for. The coming of like television and like media and these 9-to-5 jobs that even men and women, all of them have to work. I mean, that's great. I'm all for women's liberation. I love to work myself. So, but it also meant that we all of us, not only men, but all of us, we became stuck in this new reality that men and women around us created. And you're just being stuck in it. But in your head, in your mind, you have this dream, and you might not even realize fully what it is right now, but you have always felt like you were meant for someone else, even for something else. Even when you were a little child, you would just know that this was not all there is. You were not meant to play with all these other kids and just resonate. And I come from a very small town, and that's the kind of town where you're being born at and you die to. But I knew there was so much more in the world, and I wanted to experience that. And that's what I just say, if you're going through this spiritual awakening process, if you're a little child, you know so much more about your dreams and you realize them so much more. And then you get older and older, and these dreams get shoved into the back of your head. But don't be afraid, because they are still there. But deep down, you just know that you're meant for different kind of things. And the only thing that I can recommend you to do is to take a step towards that position and change your own life to what you think that you're supposed to be doing. And this can be a really small step. It can also be a bigger step. But it's up to you to make that choice. And you can choose today not to be stuck in this reality again, but just take small steps forward and go forward ahead. And another sign of you going through the spiritual awakening process, again, you're not ill, but you're just waking up. It is feeling like you're not ready. You, as someone who is waking up right now, someone as a light worker, someone who is probably a very sensitive person, you always feel like you need to measure up against others, and we are stuck into this world where we look at social media all day long and see so many successful people around us. We see them not only on social media, but on TV, on every kind of media, and we're just led to believe that these people have the perfect life. Well, they don't. First of all, if you are going through a spiritual awakening process right now, you are already a step further than so many other people around here. Because one day we all need to wake up, because this world is just shifting from 3D to 5D reality, and we cannot be left behind. So know that every person has their own journey, and maybe we might post only the things that are joyful in our life, the things that are going really well, but know that behind the scenes there's always something going on. Not everybody has the perfect life, and for you to not feel ready, it is perfectly normal. But even if you don't wait until you do feel ready, because I'm gonna tell you, that day is never ever going to come. You just feel like this because you are going through this awakening process, and it might feel like a lot to you, but you're never going to feel ready, because once you start in your awakening process and you start your spiritual journey, every day is going to be different. You're going to change every single day, and sometimes you're going to change so fast that you cannot even fully understand it. And by the time you do understand it, you have already moved on. So no, you're never ever going to feel ready. You just have to take a step towards what it is that you really want to do, and how you can bring your own light into this world. Thank you all so much for watching my video about the 7 signs of the spiritual awakening process. I hope to see you soon. Like and subscribe my video if you did, and lots of more videos are coming up, so please hit the subscribe button, and I hope to see you next time. For now, lots of love for you and all the people around you.